This season of The Ones Who Succeed is brought to you by Skillshare.
You're schooled to be a follower. You're schooled to stay safe. You're not schooled to take risks. You're not schooled to take that first step to do something extraordinary. You're not schooled to go running into the fire to save the people that are in the fire.
Hi, my name is Campbell Baron, and I'm a 15-year-old entrepreneur and content creator. And you are watching my video podcast, where each week I meet with inspiring entrepreneurs and talk to them about their journey to success. Hear their stories, experiences, and firsthand what it took to succeed in their field. Why am I doing this? Because I want to learn from the ones who succeed. And you can too. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The Ones Who Succeed. I'm Campbell Baron, and today I am joined by my wonderful guest, Tim Draper. Tim is an extremely successful venture capitalist. He's not only an early investor in Tesla, SpaceX, Skype, Hotmail, Patreon, Twitch, and many others, but he is also the creator of Draper University, a school that is teaching entrepreneurship in Silicon Valley. Tim, I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show.
Terrific. Well, thanks for having me, Campbell. This should be fun.
So I like to start all my interviews off with kind of going back in time to your childhood.
Okay.
What were you like as a kid?
I kind of loved life. I liked science a lot. I liked math. Math was easy for me. And I had a very free and open childhood because after school, there was after school sports. And so we'd hang out after that and get to know each other and figure out what the world was all about. Mm-hmm. And then I would kind of meander home. And my mother always would just say, get home before the sun goes down. And then I was somewhat entrepreneurial, and I loved board games.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite things.
And when you mentioned you were somewhat entrepreneurial, can you just describe what do you mean by that?
So, when I was about 9, I picked apples and I took them down our long driveway and sold them on the street. And over the course of about 3 weeks or something, I sold enough apples to make $8. And I was with, occasionally some friends would come by and say something or another and help me. And my next door neighbor's mother came over and said, well, so how much money have you made? And I said, $8. And she said, okay, who's helped you? And she went around and she handed me $1 and each of all these other people who helped me $1. Yeah. And then she took $2 with her. And I thought, what? And that was my first exposure to socialism, and I did not like it one bit.
So let's fast track a little bit past your childhood. How did you get into venture capital?
So my grandfather was the first venture capitalist in the Silicon Valley, and my father was also a venture capitalist. And so that was kind of the last thing I wanted to do was be a venture capitalist. But then when I went to business school, I started to think I was going to be an entrepreneur. And I came up with four different ideas for what kind of a business I would want to be in. And I wasn't willing to commit to any of the 4. And I realized that maybe I was wired to be a venture capitalist so that I could diversify my risk.
Yeah.
A true entrepreneur is willing to take that full risk with their full body and soul and do the one thing. And I wasn't.
So Tim got into venture capital and borrowed money from the USBIC program, the United States Business and Industry Council, to invest money and start his venture capital career.
I got going and I almost had lost all that money after 3 years. And I had to go fly back to the SBIC program and beg them not to call the loan because I had a lot of interesting companies in there. And they didn't. But I was on their dirt list. They called it their dirt list. And then in 1991, that was in 85, in 91, 5 companies went public all at once. And I went from their dirt list to a big picture on their wall, Venture Capitalist of the Year, SBIC Venture Capitalist of the Year.
Awesome.
So your fortunes can come and go and rise and fall, and you have to be open to the idea that just sticking with it usually pays off.
So how did you find these companies you wanted to invest in?
To start with, I went and I knocked on doors of new construction projects.
Okay.
So I'd see where there was a new construction project and I'd see something software. And that was enough for me to sort of go, okay, I'm going to go knock on this door. I remember actually knocking on Intuit's door, wanting to get into Intuit, and the receptionist brushed me away and said, "No solicitors, go away, go away." And I was thinking, God, I'm in a coat and tie and I'm offering money, and this woman is just driving me out. It's too bad, though. I would have funded them and they would have made me some money. So anyway, that's how I found them to start with. Today, I have deal flow coming from all different walks of life.
Sure,
they
it's
come
not that
through, come through all my press experiences, through our school, Draper University Heroes, through our incubator, all of our network. And then I've had the same email for about 20-something years, and so it has piled up. A lot of people know people who are starting businesses, and they refer them to me.
Coming up, I continue my conversation, but first, a quick message from our sponsor. This season of The Ones Who Succeed is brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with over 20,000 classes in business, marketing, technology, design, and more. You can take classes in social media marketing, video editing, entrepreneurship, you name it, they've got it. So whether you're trying to deepen your professional skill set, start a side hustle, or just explore a new passion, Skillshare is there to keep you learning and thriving. So join the millions of students already learning on Skillshare today, because Skillshare is offering the first 250 people who click the link in the description 2 months of unlimited access to over 20,000 classes, all for free. To sign up, go to Skillshare.com/succeed. Again, that's Skillshare.com/succeed to start your first 2 months now. That link is also right here on the top right corner of this video, and a special thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this season. So let's talk a little bit about Draper University. That really interests me, because what I love so much about you and your story, you haven't just made all this money, you've reinvested it in the entrepreneurship community. You help entrepreneurs. That's awesome.
It's my mission. My mission in life is to spread entrepreneurship and venture capital around the world.
That's great.
And Draper University was started, and we've now had about 1,000 students, and they've come from 76 different countries.
That's awesome.
They've started 350 companies. So, it seems to be working.
How did you get the idea to start this? Why did you feel there was a need for Draper University?
You know, I went in 2008. The markets crashed, and I look at times like that as opportunities for heroism, for people to become heroes. And I looked around and I thought, there are not enough heroes. People aren't really creating anything around this amazing opportunity. I mean, opportunity crisis. It was a crisis. It was an opportunity. And I thought, what are we doing wrong? And I thought back about how I was schooled and how people have been schooled. You're schooled to be a follower. You're schooled to stay safe. You're not schooled to take risks. You're not schooled to take that first step to do something extraordinary. You're not schooled to go running into the fire to save the people that are in the fire. Right. Instead, you're schooled to run away from the fire and be safe. So I decided I would create the school for the heroes, for the ones who would lead the people who were sitting in the classroom doing exactly the same thing and playing it safe. And I went through the checklist of all the things I had to do to be an accredited university, and I decided to do the opposite. So all these things, like an A means you didn't make any mistakes. We decide to give you points if you do extraordinary things. If you try something extraordinary, whether you win or lose, trying something extraordinary gets you points.
So basically, Draper University rewards their students for thinking outside the box, whether you win or lose. A very different way of educating and encouraging big ideas.
And at the end, they're planning and first they have to ideate, they have to come up with an idea, and then they have to plan a business, and then they have to challenge themselves with that business and see if the business model is going to work, are they going to make money, all that. And then at the end, they do a 2-minute presentation to a panel of venture capitalists. Some of them get funding, and we've had a few enormous successes. So it's working. It's only 5 weeks in the summer or 4 months in the fall, and you got to be 18. Sorry, you got to be 18 or older to go there. But it has really changed a lot of lives, and people are kind of coming out of there going, whoa, I learned more here in 5 weeks than I did at 4 years at Stanford. So that kind of thing is coming up quite a bit.
So were there any particular challenges you faced while building Draper University that you can remember?
Oh, yeah, there were huge challenges. The first thing was turning this hotel into a school. What I didn't realize is if you buy commercial property, you think you own it,
yeah,
but the town really owns it. The town really decides what it is you're allowed to do with it. I had to throw 3 events and explain to many townspeople what I was doing, and then all those townspeople came and fought me and tried to make sure that this thing didn't happen. And before we were here, by the way, that hotel was boarded up. And then we went through the town council meetings and the building commission, and it was rough. And then we finally got the approval, and I thought, well, now we got to get some students. So I went and I sent out a blast, and I said, we'll take them for 5 weeks for free, 4 weeks for free.
Really?
And so the first time it was all free. So they all arrived the first day. And then the next morning, they all woke up and flushed their toilets and ran their showers. And this building had been dormant for 8 years. The whole place flooded.
Really?
And so as people were coming, the other people who came the next day
Yeah.
were coming in, I was saying, welcome to Draper University, here's your plunger. And then we had to rebuild the place, and we had construction going on while the school was going on. It was pandemonium, but it was really fun, and the students seemed to love it.
Mm-hmm. So you've seen many entrepreneurs succeed and many fail. What are some of the common character traits between the ones who succeed?
Ones who succeed are totally into what they're doing. And it doesn't matter what it is. They could be radio, they could be podcasters.
Yeah.
They could be scientists. They could be athletes. They could be totally into ants. But if they have this real feeling like I've got a mission in my life, I've got this thing I'm good at, and this is something I really want to pursue, those tend to be the best entrepreneurs.
All right. Well, thank you, Tim. I appreciate your time. And
My pleasure. Great. I'm looking forward to seeing how all this comes. I want to subscribe. Get everybody, go subscribe to his podcast.
Thank you, Tim. Awesome. I appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you for your time.
All right. I'm 60 now, and I have not completed all my missions. So I feel like I'm working that much harder now because my life missions are not complete.
You're scared that you're always going to go out of business and you're never going to be able to pay people's wages. That is just, you live with that constant fear the whole time in those early days. Is it going to work? Are we going to survive? Is it going to work? Like, you're just doing that.